Hello, everybody. Welcome to Toadstool Tarot, and we are doing a second episode of Tough Tarot today. Anybody here, please let me know in the chat that I can be seen and I can be heard. And we can proceed. I have a banner at the bottom of the screen, which I think explains what I'm doing here. To repeat for anybody that doesn't know, I'm not a psychic nor claim to be. I don't provide answers. I provide questions through the tarot that help you to discern your own answers. Hello, SCB. Welcome. So here we are, month of October, more than halfway through already, heading towards Halloween, wearing a little spot of orange to celebrate Halloween. And I'm using the Haunted Terror Rider-Waite Tarot, which is filled with crazy, wild people shrieking and screaming and panicking. Seems appropriate for Halloween. And I'm going to do my readings with these cards. So if anybody has any questions, post them and I will take them in turn. And meantime, how is everybody? Do you have a beverage today? I'm having a little bit of a latte. What's left of one. It's kind of cold now. Sunny day here in New York. Probably will go out later. Expecting a couple of deliveries. I ordered a deck that's out of print. I've been having some trouble with in the post. I got it off of eBay. Hello, Ella Phillips. Welcome. And not sure what to do. I paid by PayPal. It came from Argentina and it came fairly quickly, but the postal method used was problematic, I guess. I don't know. They didn't buzz my door. They left a note on the door saying attempted delivery, but I was home and nobody buzzed for me to acknowledge them. So by the time I got the notice, it was like a couple days later, and I wrote on there to have them re-deliver and posted it back on the door. And now it's 2 days later, and I'm hoping they deliver it today, but I don't know. And if they don't deliver it, what do I do? If it gets returned to the sender in Argentina, it's not their fault. It's the delivery method fault, but I probably will have to file for a refund from PayPal, which I don't really want to do. So I hope I get this deck. I discovered it on Robert Farah's channel, Tea and Tarot. It's the Ator Tarot out of print, which has apparently been reissued recently, but the format was changed. It is more of a it's tarot size and shape now, and the original was a little more squarish than elongated, with sort of bigger borders. Anyway, I'm quite anxious to get this deck. It's based on Rider-Waite, but it's a little more cartoony, comical kind of, and the colors are nice and bright, sort of 70s color palette, like the oh, what's his name? What's the name of the guy that did the altered version of the Rider-Waite in a more interesting kind of 70s palette? I'm drawing a blank, but I'm sure all of you are familiar with it. Maybe somebody will pop it in the chat. Let's see. Hello, Elowen LaFay. Enjoying a homemade mocha. Nice. Andrea 54 Hector. Hello. Rolf Matson. Hello. SCB is Dulcie in English. I've got a hot cup of tea. I've had 2 recent bereavements. I'm struggling with this, but how can I keep strong from my family who really need me without going under myself? Okay, that'll be our first question. L. Phillips, I agree with Robert. I like the original. Have you seen the new Kishobu, the blonde and blue edition? Yes. I actually have the traditional blonde one that she put out that has a kind of a vintagey coloration. I have the original one actually, but I didn't like the cardstock at all, and it's stark white background. So I'm probably going to get rid of that one. It's not a friendly one to use because the cardstock is unpleasant. But the one that she reissued, she also revised the color, and I didn't like the revised color one, but she did one. I always refer to it, rather than the Kishobu tarot, as the tarot of the blondes, because it's all Caucasian blondes. And it was published in Japan by, I believe, a Japanese artist illustrator. And I'm thrilled to have it. It took me a little while to get used to this sort of off-white or bone white ivory kind of coloring of the background. But I really like it now. And it's one of my favorites, one of my top 10, maybe even top 5. Moon Baby Tarot or Hoi Polite? No. What is the name of the guy? He's really well known, and he recolored them in the 70s from the traditional coloring of the Rider-Waite that came out from US Games. Oh. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a very sort of 70s coloring and bright. You might actually want to tune into Tea and Tarot to see his walkthrough. We also did a comparison between, yes, Frankie Albano. Thank you, L. Phillips. Thank you, Miss Moonlight. Yeah, he did a walkthrough comparison of the newly released or revised edition versus the original. And I agree with him. I prefer the original one. So anyway, now that a few of you are here and I have a question, I'm going to try and answer it. Let me scroll back a minute to find it. Okay, let's see. 2 recent bereavements. I'm struggling with this, but how can I keep strong for my family who really need me without going under myself? Okay, we'll see what these cards sort of hint in my direction. I generally do a 3-card spread. And I might actually add a follow-up to this, not necessarily relating directly to the cards, but I love this Oracle deck, which is also unfortunately out of print, went out of print very quickly, Between Worlds. But it usually works really well for me and gives me interesting, inspirational information. So even though I'm not a big fan of oracles, this one somehow works more from the words, the key words on the cards than the imagery. But okay, so how can I keep strong for my family who need me without going under myself? Hmm. Well, the central card is the Nine of Swords, generally known as the Nightmare card. And this does kind of frame the question. Life at the moment seems to be a little bit of a nightmare, struggling with bereavement. So this isn't really, this is kind of asking you back your own question. How can you keep strong for your family who need you without going under yourself? Generally, I'd say that don't give in to the nightmare card. Don't give in to nightmare pressures or thoughts. Ask yourself how much of it is real or important when you have to deal with difficult things. How much are you able to handle? How much are you able to control? Generally, where bereavement is involved, we're not able to control very much. But to the extent that you are, try not to be overwhelmed by it. Try to exert your control, regain your composure. I know that's hard to do when you're grieving. We have before that the 10 of Cups, which is sort of emotions running deep in the family. The family is also bereaving. And cups are filled with all kinds of emotions. Grief takes its course in different ways for different people. Be aware that not everybody, including yourself, is going to grieve in the same way. Find some kind of tool to help you. Often, people offer up a warm beverage when they need comfort, a cup of tea, a pot of tea. Some may need to go to the extent of a little spot of alcohol in their warm beverage. But realize you're not in this alone. You are having to keep strong for your family, but some of them may be wanting to be strong for you and help you out. A family is meant to work things out together. So don't take this whole nightmare on yourself. Now we have here, the third card is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups generally is grieving what you've lost, but forgetting that just steps behind you, there are strengths and things to hold on to. So this may be fond memories of the person past. This may be bits of memorabilia left behind that give you strength. There may be stories from family members. Think and focus on the positive rather than being overwhelmed by the negative. So I think the question may be, how can I look for, how can I search, how can I rely on family members to help me as much as I am trying to help them? We're all in this together. So I think, that may not be very helpful, but realize you're not in this alone. You're not the only one grieving. Now, I'm going to see what this oracle has to say. I'm not counting on or depending on anything. It may not be related. It may be related. We shall see. This oracle, Between Worlds, features imagery related to birds. And I'm not particularly a bird fancier. I mean, my name is Robin, so, there's a connection between me and birds. But I like the colors palette and the artistry in this deck, but both of these decks are not particularly intuitive to look at. I read them more from the rank and suit or the keywords supplied to me by the decks. So let's see. Bereaf, strength, grief, bereavement. Universal Spirit is the first card. Universal Spirit. I don't know what your personal beliefs are, what your belief system is, if you have one. My personal belief system, I'm going to share with you, is we are all part of a universal spirit and need to remind ourselves that when one passes from this dimension, we simply go through a door into another dimension, and that life does not end there. Our connections to that spirit are more difficult, sometimes seemingly impossible. Sometimes we pick up symbols and messages from the other side. But remember that the person passing is continuing their journey in another realm that one day we will visit as well. The second card is Valley of Knowledge. Let me unclick your thing here. The Valley of Knowledge. Sometimes it helps to research a little bit in terms of spirituality and belief and other realms of consciousness. And we often find ourselves in a valley of knowledge that sometimes we need a little help to climb out of. And we can get a little bit of that help by researching, reading certain books, do a little Googling, or ask help from other friends who are doing spiritual studies about the nature of afterlife, alternate existence. I may not be wording that the best way. Third card is achievement. So I'd say, if you can accept that we are all part of universal spirit, and you do some research that helps build or extend your foundation, strengthen your foundation in your beliefs, then you can reach a state of achievement. This might also reflect on the idea that, or the notion that, we have certain things to achieve while we're here in this earthly existence. And once we've accomplished them, we move on to the next. So this might just be sort of a way of comforting you that whoever it is that has passed on, they've achieved all they can here in this particular lifetime. And they will continue on the other side, wherever that is, and they may return to achieve new things, or things left undone that they weren't able to achieve this time around. Of course, that all kind of depends on your belief in, say, reincarnation or something to that effect. So anyway, I hope that helps somehow. I'm going to try and scan the chat a little bit to see if we have any more questions. Miss Moonlight, can I ask questions? Yes, you can ask questions. Oh, Miss Moonlight, what do I need to know for my work week ahead? Well, that's something that you can ask yourself, but let's see what the cards say. I don't generally like to do sort of general readings or kind of mundane readings that aren't very specific. Um, a lot of people that go into chats are readers themselves, and they can read and find their own answers. But, some people can't read for themselves, and some people like different perspectives. So I'm going to give you a perspective that's not an answer so much as it's a question for you to ask yourself and answer. What do you need to know for your work week ahead? Okay. Oh my. Well, we've got some conflicts here. We start off with the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords usually is sort of a feeling of defeat or being overwhelmed, mentally overwhelmed, or overwhelmed with regards to your thoughts or your communication. There's maybe a little bit too much in your head. Ask yourself, am I lacking focus? Am I trying to handle too much? Is too much being thrown at me to deal with mentally? Are lots of people coming to me wanting information that I'm being overwhelmed and having trouble answering? So, I mean, that might be a sort of an overwhelming sense with the idea of thought and communication, as in the swords. Here, second card we have around it. I usually work from the center out, so that was the center card. The first card is the King of Wands, and the cards around it are the energy usually surrounding the central issue or theme. The King of Wands is usually someone in charge or in control, or believe they're in control of their own passion. And I'm going to put a little twist on here and say compassion too, passion and compassion. Now, I know that you are a tarot student and reader, Miss Moonlight. And so I'm going to ask you if you are feeling, maybe you're feeling like having to deal with too many issues that others are dropping on your doorstep. Maybe there's a little bit of panic. It's all getting to be a little bit too much. You're passionate about tarot. You're in control of it. You're in charge of it to a degree. But when you're assaulted with 10 swords worth, sometimes it gets be a little bit overwhelming. The third card is the Nine of Cups. And this can be a little bit, nine's almost 10, and cups are emotions. So this can be a little bit overwhelming. Now, often we look at this card as a wish card, wishes granted card. I often look at it as in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it looks to me like a sense of self-satisfaction, or I know it all, I'm the end all and be all, and I don't need to share with you. I've got all the cups behind me, and don't you dare cross my threshold. So I'm just kind of wondering if this falls into the idea of reading for others. Ask yourself, How solid is that crown on your head in terms of mastering the tarot and in dealing and communicating with other people? It's almost as if this reading in general is this notion of uh, questioning one's own confidence and competence in terms of managing numbers of questions and types of questions from various people and many people. And it's just something to pause and consider yourself, your approach to reading for others. Maybe get a little bit of a fresh perspective on reading for others. Try not to let it overwhelm you. Uh, Continue studying. Tarot is an unending study session. We learn things all the time. We learn from each other, from books. We learn from watching other people read and seeing different ways other people interpret cards. And I would say it's okay to not feel like you've got all the answers and to draw from other sources to help you. So I think I'll leave that there, and let's see what Between Worlds has to say. Multiplicity. Multiplicity, this kind of echoes this idea of many sources. Widen your research, widen your source material when building upon consulting the tarot and doing readings. The warrior. If you're doing the readings, you are the warrior. You go into battle every time you pick up a deck and try to read for others. A warrior can charge forward. They can be strong. Build on all your arsenal of tools. Expand your arsenal of tools in order to read better for other people. And the third card is the messenger. And realize that you are only the messenger of what the cards have to say to you to deliver to other people. You are sort of the go-between between the cards and the querent. And remain open to impulses that come in, but also, again, build on and expand your capacity to be that messenger, to read those cards, to share that information with people in need of answers. So I'm going to stop there. I think that's good. Let's see. Miss Moonlight Maine, I think we chatted on Tea and Tarot. Yes, she's in Maine. Okay, Ocean Sound 100, welcome. Can you do cards for how my new entrepreneur work, how it will work for me? Okay. I'm not going to scroll all the way down and see if I get responses from what I've already done. I'll come back later. I'm afraid I'm going to lose the questions if I do that. So I hope you understand. I'll get back to you as things come up in the chat. Hello, can you do cards for how my new entrepreneur work, how it will work for me? Okay, let's see. Entrepreneurship is a little bit of a tricky thing, I think. Okay. I see stuff here having to do with some sort of a collaboration, maybe in entrepreneurship. The first card is the Three of Cups. Now, usually this is a meeting of three minds in a celebratory fashion. If it were the Three of Pentacles, it might be more of an entrepreneurial or work collaboration. Possibly your entrepreneurship involves a couple other friends of yours. I'm not sure. Or you need some kind of, or looking for some kind of support from a couple of close friends, even if it's just emotional support, or they can, share their advice with you over a few cups of tea. That's, you can always look to and lean on your friends, get advice from them. Don't be afraid to ask others for their thoughts on things. You don't have to take them to heart. Just listen, take it in, and then see what you think. Next, we have the Lovers. So this may involve a partner, either a romantic partner, a husband, a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, but also possibly a business partner. It also could be a relationship between yourself and your higher self in terms of working out this entrepreneurship. How is this going to work? I have these lofty goals, but I have earthly ways I have to go about making these meet, making it work. But again, the Three of Cups, the Lovers, feels like involving other people other than yourself. Third card is the Hanged Man. This usually means suspending action or pausing to consider. So obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, there's time involved in things. Like if you're going to open a shop or a business, you need to deal with real estate, you need to deal with construction, deadlines, budgets, submissions of budgets, loans, all this kind of thing. But in terms of making decisions, if you're not forced into it or pressured into a timely constraint, take a breath, take a pause, suspend action to consider what are the best moves for you. And again, you might want to refer back to advice and support of a partner and of friends. So I'm going to see what the birds have to say about this. I guess I don't know if I actually posed that one in a question for you, but the question would be, where can I seek advice and help? Is it okay for me to reach out to my partner and my friends and rely on them for help? Am I doing that? Am I holding back? Am I not communicating with others? Will communicating with others complicate the issue or help me out better? Do I have the time to suspend action and consider all these things? So there's some questions for you. Okay, this is a little similar. Okay, transformation. You're transforming something. I don't know. Like I said, if you are opening a shop or a business that needs some sort of real estate, that's involved, and you're transforming it so you can, be an entrepreneur with this. If it's not real estate, there's some kind of structure to the business that needs some amount of modeling or changing or transforming in order to make it work as a success. The Muse. who may need to rely on a little bit of assistance from a muse, the Lovers, the Three of Cups, someone else's advice or suggestions, or maybe even a deck that you consult, a book of some sort of wisdom that might advise you, an oracle deck, an affirmation deck, and the architect. Well, the architect, if it's not an actual architect for a building or an office space or something, it may be you as the architect of your own entrepreneurship, your plan. You're the architect in charge of your plan, and make sure that your blueprint is a solid one, something that can be achieved, and that you've thought out where every little nut, bolt, and screw goes, and that all the corners are measured and cut properly and line up. So your plans are in place and will go well. I hope that's enough of a reading for you. I'm going to move on to Andrea 54 Hector. What does my spirit guides need me to know about my surroundings? Well, let's have a look. Now, I'm probably going to cut this off about 1, if not sooner. So if you have any questions, get them in now, because after we get to 1, I may not go any longer than that. I like to try and keep these to a manageable time frame, an hour. I want to make sure that my viewers have patience, because I find when I watch people read, I sort of lose patience after a while. If they're not reading from me and I can't learn something from the reading, then why am I watching somebody else being dealt with or entertained? Yeah, and I also should remind you that these readings are for entertainment purpose only. Don't take anything to the bank. Okay, spirit guides, surroundings. Wow. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Lots of panic on these 3 faces. We've got center card, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, well, you said surroundings, and when you say surroundings, I'm looking at that as related to pentacles. Is there something in your surroundings involving physical structure or physical or material value to you that you are questioning, that do I need to focus on this right now? Is it finances? Is it your place of living? Is it your body and your health? What material, ask yourself, what material issue am I involved in or connected to right now that might create something I need to stop and focus on? Because you've got the crown, you're in charge, but you need to know where to direct your energy and where to focus it, what to focus it on. So ask yourself, what is it? Is it my bank account? Is it my family? Is it a little bit of a fever or some issue in my body? Do I need to go to the doctor? Who knows? You know. Ask yourself, what of material value have I not been focusing on that maybe I need to focus on and take charge of as a queen, a compassionate person in charge of material things of value to me? On one side, we've got the Fool. Perhaps you've been a little bit lackadaisical and not focusing on these things or not addressing them. Or perhaps it's saying you have been too tied up and too focused on things of material value that you are almost at a state of panic that you need to step away from that and go play the fool, go be foolish, go do something a little bit fun or distracting to get you away from that kind of focus. Card number 3 is the Page of Cups. This is sort of almost immature is the wrong word, but it's almost like in terms of addressing emotions around this concern of material value. It's maybe like early stages of something, early stages of concern or worry or feeling about. You have new feelings about something that you need to take a little bit time to develop more considered feelings about whatever this material thing is. Okay, let's see. Okay. First card, Valley of Bewilderment. Now, this can be a situation where, let's hide this. This can be a situation where you don't have the answers. You're not sure, you're not there yet. You're a little bewildered by the whole situation. But I think if you sort of step back from it and get a long distance view and then focus in with your mental telescope, you may get a notion of what's in that valley, what is bewildering you that's related to something material. We all deal with material things from day to day, and there's something in your life that you need to ask yourself about. What bewilders me materialistically? Universal mind. Can I tune in to a universal mind? Perhaps it's something material we all relate to. If I believe in guides, spiritual guides, can I tune into them to have them help me sort through my thoughts and feelings about this material issue? Rely a little bit, lean on the shoulder of the material guide. And embodiment. Embodiment is sort of like embracing and embodying the connection of modify, body, mind, and spirit. Draw from spirit, draw from your body, draw from your mind, draw from your emotions. Try and pull all those things in and see if you can find a center as to what this issue is involving material things of material importance to you. I hope that did something. Let's see. Miss Moonlight says, what a great reading. Thank you. You're welcome. And that is very helpful. Hi, my beautiful sister. Hugs and love to Moonlight. What you're scrying resonates so much with my beliefs. I can tell you how your kindness has helped me. Thank you so much, SCB. You're welcome. Oh, Zach. Welcome, Zach. The Tiger's Abyss. Zach, I would love if you'll give me a question to read for you. If you can think of one, please do. Miss Moonlight, awesome. Miss Moonlight, or week ahead. Okay. I'm a reader. You can skip me. Oh, okay, I like it. I always have an urge to keep drawing until I like the results. I need a bit of structure. I tend to do that too. When I draw cards, I usually draw 3 But if I feel like I'm left a little bit in limbo, like sometimes they're just sort of the layout of the situation and they don't really give me an answer. Sometimes I keep drawing until I find like what feels like a satisfying resolution, and then I stop. I could keep going on, but once you get a positive, why go looking for additional negatives or distractions or diversions? So that's what I like to do. But for readings like this, I don't know how many are coming in or how long they can go on. I used to be able to do my readings in like 20 seconds. I could do a 3-card reading in 20 seconds. Now, the more I'm getting to know about cards and the more I don't know about the issues involved from the people asking the questions, it takes me a little bit longer to read because the answers are not always cut and dry. They're not always what I initially intuit because, like I said, I'm not psychic. But the cards often seem to like pretend that I'm psychic or hint that I'm, queuing into something. Maybe they know that I don't know. So we'll see. Let's see. Miss Moonlight, that makes sense. It's been busy. Okay. I think that was about the being overwhelmed by reading for others. Rolf Matson, can you give me a reading? I'm writing an essay. How can I avoid procrastinating? Oh, I like this. I procrastinated a year and a half. I was probably a few years into studying tarot, but when I thought, I should make my own deck. And I advise everyone, regardless of artistic talent, to make their own deck, not necessarily to publish or share with others, but because it's a really great way to study tarot and what it's all about, what it is and what it isn't. When you look at other decks and see how they display the archetypes and how they vary from one deck to another, you come up in your head with a general consensus about an archetype or certain key words that work across decks and systems. And it's really, really educational and helpful. And I procrastinated for a year and a half thinking, oh, I'll never be able to do a 78 card deck. And so I started and I did. Some people take years to do a deck. I scribbled and scrambled, and one Sunday morning, I just got out some note cards and pens, and I doodled a majors only deck of 22 cards in 4 hours. 4 hours. Now, some of them, my drawings are very simplistic. I did multiple versions of a few of the illustrations, usually no more than 3 before I would settle on one I was happy with. There were a couple cards in the deck I wasn't really happy with aesthetically, but they were near the end of the 22. And I thought when I got there, I could keep going on this. I could revise it, but I'm pushing further and further into the day. If I set this aside, do a second day, am I going to procrastinate further? Is it going to be another year and a half before I finish this deck? So I pushed through the 22, and I was so happy and so satisfied with it. And I discovered stuff not only by creating my deck, but in the aftermath of the deck, I kept seeing things in my simple drawings that I wasn't conscious of when I created them. So even though they were very simplistic drawings, there's depth there that it feels almost like I channeled or came out of my soul somehow. So it's really a great thing to. I tell everybody, do it. My second deck was basically stick figures using the Pages program that comes on every Apple computer, and It was a pip deck, and it was very easy to create these stick figures and add colors and just layer geometric shapes in order to make a tarot deck with figures in it that I could work with. And because it was a pip deck and a lot of it was copy, cut, and paste, I was able to do that one in about a week. And, that wasn't too long. I managed pretty well. Not thrilled with the deck. It's really colorful. Artistically, might be a bit lacking, but I did it mostly to prove to other people that deck creation doesn't rely on artistic ability. It relies more on organization. You kind of need to know what you want to convey in a card and how to organize all your elements and ranks and, shapes. If you're working with shapes, you have to kind of think and plan it out a little bit more than you have to worry about how to convey it on each card. Okay, where am I? Essay, procrastinating essay. Okay. All right, interesting. Central issue, avoid procrastinating. Knight of Swords. Okay. Knights are action cards. Swords convey meaning through intellect and words. You're writing an essay. You are the Knight of Swords. Knights can sometimes be a little bit aggressive. They can sort of launch right into action without maybe pausing to think. On the other hand, if you pause to think too much, that can be procrastination. You need a little more knight energy and a little less king energy, maybe. We have, secondly, a king, the King of Cups, King of Emotions. Master of emotions. Is it your emotions that are keeping you from charging forward in dealing with writing this essay? What is it that's holding you back? Ask yourself if you have the tools that you need to convey this thing. And I write as well, and I found from others advising, it's often best to just put shit on paper. Pardon the expression. Get all that shit out and put it on paper. Your first draft can be crap. Once you get that down, you can go back and edit and revise and work out all the kinks and bugs and problems. You can even toss the whole first draft out, but it will help you push through the procrastination. Don't worry, don't be critical of the nature of a first draft. Ace of Pentacles, there you go. Get that first draft moving. Begin to make that material thing happen. If you're working on a computer, get it out, sit yourself down at it and get those fingers moving. Or if you write longhand, pick up the pen, put down the paper, find yourself a quiet space. If you need research materials around you, gather them, but begin. Even if you only write a paragraph on the first page, you may be kickstarting and move your way as a knight out of that area of procrastination. So ask yourself, why are you not doing this? What is keeping, are things distracting you from making that move? Find a way to push those distractions aside. Maybe it's family, interruptions, no peace and quiet. You're not finding the time. Can you find a way to re-allot your time to focus on this? I don't know if you're writing this essay because it's something you're passionate about, or if it's a job assigned to you by others. I mean, that's always something to dread if it's a job rather than something you're passionate about. One hopes for best of both worlds, that you're writing something you're passionate about, that you're also being supported by others, emotionally, financial rewards, whatever. Let's go to the birds now. The between worlds. Grasping. Grasping. Grasp this essay. Grasp the computer. Grasp the pen. Take the pen in hand. You've already got those ideas forming in your head, or you wouldn't be writing an essay. Grasp the ideas. Grasp the pen. Get it moving. Make a beginning. Valley of knowledge. Again, the valley of knowledge. You've got the knowledge, or you're gathering knowledge, but you've got enough knowledge to get that essay started. Maybe you feel like, ask yourself, do I have enough? Well, yeah, you got enough to start. You know, if it needs revision, or if it needs more, if it needs footnotes, you can do more research later. Don't feel like it all has to be up front. Get that stuff down on paper. Card number 3, rage. Make your rage work for you. Don't rage against this thing you're procrastinating about. Rage against the lack of impetus. Is that the right word? The lack of whatever it is that's keeping you from moving forward, from taking those early steps in this essay. Get that fire in your belly. You know, it's like, man, if you can get the rage in your belly, once that pen starts moving, it may just flow out of you and write itself. I used to worry when I was younger, as a young writer, what am I going to write about? I don't know anything. Now I can hardly hold on to my pen. I mean, the stuff just flies out of me. And I'm not saying it's all good. Some of it's crap. But, you know, I'm getting better at it. The more skill I have, the more I do, the more I practice. So, yeah, get your rage in gear, shift it into gear and move with it. I hope that's sort of gave you a little bit of a kick. This is tough tarot. Let's see. Choosing love over fear on a daily basis. Okay. I don't work reading tarot, but it makes sense for question. This Miss Moonlight, I'll relate to both. Makes a lot of sense for both. Been studying tarot, Lenormand, and playing cards over 30 years. I'm always learning something new. See? I love that about tarot. Always something new to build on. Absolutely. Kristen Louise, hello. I can't stay. I need to go do work in a bit, but wanted to say hi. Well, good to see you. You may be gone by now. Let's see. Anything else here? You can star the questions if you don't want to lose them in chat. Okay? I'll keep that in mind, but I'm near the end here. Thank you for my reading. Wonderful reading, Miss Moonlight. Thank you. You're welcome. Tiger's Abyss. The 3 of Cups is a yap session. Yeah. You can rely on other people, get help from others in a 3 of Cups yap session. Okay, Ocean Sound is opening a business. Longman Tarot, welcome, Richie. So good to catch you live. I hope you're well. Yes, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Thanks much. It was great. Appreciate that. Really appreciate an oracle deck. Sometimes you need a simple answer. Is the connection I feel with this person true? Okay. I'm gonna do what Zach recommended. Gonna star that. Oh, nope, starred the wrong one. And jump ahead to see if there's any more here. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, scary harpy. I'm gonna mark you. Oh my. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm down at the bottom, so I'm going to scroll back. I have 2 more readings to do, and then I'm leaving you today. I'm past 1 already. So the next one is, this is from Wish Card 22. Is the connection I feel with this person true? I don't know you. Well, welcome here if you don't know already. This is more of a tough tarot session where I don't spoon feed you answers. I help you to try and ask yourself the proper questions. So we shall see what the cards say, where they direct us in terms of questions. Oh, all right. I got 2 cards I got before, so I'm going to keep shuffling because that doesn't feel like they're well mixed or shuffled when that happens. I usually go with it, but not when you get the same cards exactly. All right, so let's see. I might not be focusing my intent well enough. Is the connection I feel with this person true? And the cards may not want to be answering this, but let's see. The connection Wish Card 22 feels with this person true. Okay. All right, the first card, the card at the center of the issue is the Chariot card. Now, to me, Chariot is, it's wanting to move forward, but being conflicted to the extent that you're not sure which direction you're going in. Maybe forward's not the most direct route. Maybe you need to turn left. Maybe you need to turn right. You need a certain degree of passion, momentum, and direction in order to move the Chariot forward. So I might say, you say, is the connection I feel with this person true? Well, do you communicate with this person? Communicating with them will help you find a more straightforward direction to your answer. You can't, yes, we have the Wheel of Fortune, directing us with fate, but as I've said before, you have to meet it halfway. You have to put in the work, at least 50% of the work. You can't just sit back and expect everything to fall in your lap. You can't expect somebody else to completely take the wheel on your chariot or take the reins. You need to guide your chariot to this person. If you have a connection with them, then solidify the connection. Find out what your connection is to them rather than what their connection is to you. And whether it's true or not, you'll test it by, I don't want to say confronting them, but engaging with them, communicating with them will help you find out if the connection is true. When you communicate with them, you will see things that will help you sort of read between the lines, get little signals, pick up on symbols and things. We have here the 7 of Wands. This is usually sort of a bit of self-defense. So if you're connecting, don't make it confrontational. Find a way to get your answers, ask your questions without posing an ultimatum or something. It's like there are ways to talk to people without making it so direct or confrontational. Like you don't need to say, do you love me? Do you care about me? Are you being honest with me? there are ways to find out those answers without being quite that direct and without it coming across like, I need to know. Tell me, tell me the truth. How do you really feel about me? Maybe express in a gentle way how you feel about them and see what the reaction is. But don't hinge the whole thing on how they feel about you. How do you feel about them? And when you express that or share that in a compassionate and honest and open way, how is the information received? We've got the Six of Pentacles. This is a share card, sharing something of material worth, sharing your feelings, sharing that communique about how you feel and things that you want to know, things to help you build your foundation on. You're solidifying your heart by filling it with this information that you're gathering from this other person. You need to find a way to do it that doesn't put you in a mode of self-defense. No, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong card. You need to, well, that was the previous one, Seven of Wands. This is the Six of Pentacles. Sorry, got sidetracked in my own cards here. Find ways to share make a gesture that's meaningful in a material way. Now, I tend to kind of veer towards cups, which is emotions, because it sounds like this is a romantic or emotional issue or question. And these are not emotions, pentacles. However, emotions are tied up in the heart and in your body and in your physicality, your body language, the way you communicate things. There's material stuff going on there. So I think there are specific ways that you can get the communication that you need through small physical gestures. Maybe do a little kindness or a little something that will be a gesture that means something to the other person. And this is maybe not a good example, make them a small gift or bake them something or something they've related to you in the past that they find they're passionate about, a hobby or an idea that they find valuable. Share your thoughts on that or your feeling or your support of them in that. Let them know that, you're there for them, that you're not there to just take it all from them. You're there to give something to them. You're there to share something. Relationships are give and take. They're as much give as they are take. See, I'm talking too much. My throat's starting to tickle. Let's see what the birds between worlds have to say. Okay, first card is Passage. Passage relates to the Chariot. You're going through a period of passage in terms of trying to connect with this person and find out how they feel. That just backs up that you need to find a way to move your chariot, get it moving. Multiplicity. Find different ways to approach to get your answers. If asking directly doesn't work, if asking by some other means doesn't work, maybe they're not good verbally, or you're not good verbally. Maybe you need to write them a note, send them a card, make some sort of gesture of communication. Try different ways to get that information to move your chariot forward. And the messenger, you're the messenger of the situation. You're looking for an answer from this person, but you need to communicate with them first in order to get to find out, is what you feel true? Maybe it's not even asking the other person. Maybe it's going deep within yourself to find out if you are thinking and feeling all these things through before you go further. Or is your heart sending your body the right message? Is your mind sending your heart the right message? I don't know. Ask yourself these things. Think about these things. That's it. Let's go to the last one. Those cards, everyone's angry on every card. Yeah, if you arrived late, this is the deck I'm using for October, for Halloween. I thought it should be a scary deck. And I thought I might do tough tarot readings because these are not happy cards, but they're almost extreme silly, because some cards that are usually friendly in an RWS deck are in total panic in this one and disarray, which feeds into the nightmare of Halloween season. And also, a lot of times we go into panic mode when we want answers. And I thought, let's not be overly serious. Our questions are, maybe very serious to us, but hey, lighten up. Be able to laugh at yourself. Be able to not take your question so seriously. CB's liking the bird deck. Yeah, I wish it hadn't got out of print quite so quick. I only have maybe 3 Oracle decks, and I usually can't relate to them. This one, I thought the images and palette were beautiful. I don't particularly relate to them intuitively, but I relate very strongly to the word messages on the labels. Andrea lost her house or daughter, and I had to move in with her godparents in a room in the garage. Okay, I'm getting this message after the fact. I don't remember now what I advised for you. I hope something out of the reading was able to help direct you to what you need to figure out, whether you can ask the right questions. Zach goes, but what should I ask? Zach, I know you've got something to ask. Okay, we're down to Scary Harpy. When will I find a job? Well, this is the kind of thing I don't answer. I ask questions. Have you gone out looking? Do you want a job? You have to have the right intentions to find a job, but let's see what the cards say. Oh, it's all wands. Okay, the passion and drive are there. You've got wands. You've got the 8 of wands, though, which is being overwhelmed. You've got all these wands coming your way. Is it bills coming your way, or is it job possibilities coming your way and you're not focused? Have you applied at a bunch of different places, or maybe a lot of opportunities are there, but you haven't gone on, 8 wands worth of interviews? Think about what steps do I need to take? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? If I'm overwhelmed by all the possibilities, do I need to pause a moment and consider where to put my emphasis? Which jobs do I want the most? Go after those first, or are there some that might be easier to get than others that would tide me over if my resources at the moment are pressing? So ask yourself those kind of questions. Six of Wands. Six of Wands. Six of Wands is generally a small celebration. Now, small celebration, that may be, you've gone on a few interviews and some of the interviews look promising. You can celebrate that you made the effort and that you came away with a good feeling that there's a possibility there. I wouldn't take it to the bank yet, but you put the effort in, you did something, you're partway there. 10 of Wands. We jumped from the 8 to the 10. Okay. We took the 8. We tried a little bit. Now we're a little bit overwhelmed. It's like too much. Too many job offers, too many interviews, too many bills coming in. Too many things I'm passionate about. I can't focus and decide which one to focus my efforts on. Maybe stop and ask other people how they've been a little bit more successful at securing their job. Do you have all your wands in a row? You have all your skills organized, all the things that you need to answer the right questions at the interviews. If you've got 10 wands of positivity and passion towards a job, you've got much better chances of getting that job. The employer's going to see they're all in. They've got it all. They're going to do great for our firm. So think about that. So it's not an easy answer of when will I find a job. It's sort of like how you do the work, when you do the work, what kind of work you do to get the job, what kind of effort are you making. The job will come as a reward after you've done taken the proper steps. So when did you take those steps? How many of those steps did you take? Were your steps organized? Did you have your shoes on and pointed in the right direction? Okay, this one we've got Valley of Unity. The Valley of Unity, I think this is sort of coalescing all your skills, all your passions, all your ideas, all your efforts in one place. Once you have everything kind of like in one thing, then you're in the best position to get the job. Liminality. Oh, God. I have looked this up so many times and I constantly forget what the word liminal means. So I'm just going to have a quick look again because it's something that for some reason I can't seem to retain in my head. And luckily I have a little cheat card here. Liminality, transition and limbo, mystery, renewal. Well, you're in this transitional period. A period of renewal. There's a certain mystery or an unknown quality of it. You're sort of waiting for these eggs to hatch. So maybe you've done all the interviews and now you're just waiting on the results. You can follow up interviews with thank you notes and, some kind of little note to let the employer know that you are very excited at the prospect and still thinking about the job without pressuring them, but let them know that you're motivated. Card number 3, partnership. This looks good. Don't do predictive, but partnership looks like, there's a pretty good possibility of the energy of you being in partnership with some boss somewhere. Or you're more in partnership with your active wand energy self. There's a passive self and an active self. And once you get them in gear together, you're apt to be able to move forward. So I hope that helps. And let's see if I can finish. I've gone an hour and a half today. Okay. We talk all the time, but we're long distance, so that concerns me to go further, even though I want to. I think that's the romance question. It's quite unfortunate that all these people in the cards have tetanus. The lockjaw is running rampant. Okay, that makes sense. Hard for me to not be so direct, asking some questions. That's not Cher, that's Van Gogh. Yes. Yeah, a lot of the cards look like tormented Van Gogh. It's pretty obvious this is an AI deck. I love the stylization of it, though. And I love the sense of weird, twisted humor of it. And this Between Worlds bird oracle is serious in a very deep way that the Haunted Terror Rider-Waite is not. So I actually kind of like them together. We're both earth signs and working on our careers, so Pentacles makes sense for us. Nor arrived too late. I'm sorry, I've finished. Maybe next time. Is Amen, my significant other. Okay. All right. I'm going to skip a little bit. Laughter is important. I agree. Everyone needs laughter. It feels so good for the reminder. Mite infestation in the apartment. Oh, my goodness. Another question there. I'm sorry, guys. I had a cutoff point on these questions, and you all arrived late. Next time, get on time and get first in line. I did, before you guys came in, I did promise Zach, because he has actually gifted me with readings, so I'm going to do one for him, but this was going to be the last one. Sorry, guys. Everybody's struggling to find work these days. Add me to the list. How should I better strategize my work search? Okay, Zach, I hope you're still here. And Zach has a great channel, The Tiger's Abyss. You have to be patient because he goes on more detours than I do, but it's very entertaining and he's a great reader. So visit Zach's channel, The Tiger's Abyss, when he does live readings, because they can go on for several hours. He's very patient. I do find a lot of times people show up at the last minute and they want an instant reading, instant answers, and then they leave. Often they'll leave before their turn comes up. And you need to have as much patience as the reader has for you. All right, Zach. Oh, Seven of Swords. Something shady going on. Seven of Swords. Struggling to find work. How should I better strategize my work search? Be sneaky, be shady. Zach, take another approach. Take a different approach than you usually do. Take a novel approach. Now, in the usual Rider-Waite Smith, it's somebody stealing swords in the night. And some people look at that as like, oh, that's shady, that's sneaky, what a conniving bitch that is. And then others say, no, he's taking the resources he needs for his side to win the battle. He's taking as much as he needs, but leaving some behind. So, you can't tell anything from this visual other than total panic. But it's funny. There's almost like a little fiery crown on his head. The Seven of Swords. Yeah, I'd say consider some innovative or creative way to strategize your work search. I don't know what that is, but think about that. The Star, something's going to bring you inspiration. You're going to find something somebody says or does is going to inspire you to find a new way to get there. I always look, the Star is a very difficult card for me. I've been thinking about that. And I have a new phrase for the Star. The Star, my new phrase is, the inkling is in the twinkling. So look at what is flashy about the Star. What sparkles your imagination? What sparks your imagination? What glistens and glimmers and glitters? What is it that fires up your imagination, that helps guide you? The guiding star helps you find direction to strategize work. So I would say try and find some inspiration that will help you focus on that new, that sort of alternative and innovative approach to work search. Ace of Swords, you need to make a start. Make a start in terms of communicating and thinking about that work, what kind of work you want to do, where you can find the work, how you can best get that job, or whether you're working for yourself, finding a way to make it happen. Ace, you need to take the first steps, but the first steps are tied up in the element of swords. Thinking about it, planning about it, communicating about it, talking to people about it, beginning to discuss the ideas or the plans, figure a way to make an opening or a beginning in terms of communicating. We'll go to the birds now, because this is for the birds. All right. First card is the Destroyer. Now, I'm going to look at the Destroyer in this situation as destroying old patterns of approaching job seeking. So maybe they worked in the past, maybe they don't work this time. Find a different approach. If you're in a routine or a pattern of job search, destroy that. Forget about it. Move beyond it. Find another way. Find a new way. Passage. An innovative approach may help you find passage through the past to the future and into this job that you want. Scholarship. Okay. Build on your skills for whatever the job requires, but also your skills on acquiring the job. So do a little study, do a little exchange with some people around you that are very successful at job hunting and can help advise you. Take that to heart and see where it leads you. And I'm going to stop there today. So thank you, everybody. I hope that helped. And Zach loves his tangents. I love his tangents too. Early Ritual, hello. He's going to add a few degrees on his resume and add the President of the USA as a reference. Okay. Thanks for using both light and dark plus humor. Twinkle on. I subbed even though you didn't have time for my question. I hope you'll come back and get one next time. I am probably going to do this the same time next Saturday from noon to around 1. So come back with your question next week and come early. Zach, yep, I'm literally going to finally go back to school and get some certifications. Thank you, Robin. You're welcome. Thank you to everybody that came here, even if you came in late. I think I got to most of you. There were a couple I didn't, and maybe you'll come back next time. Hello, Eric. Goodbye, Tina. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. And we've got at least one more week. Or do we have 2 till Halloween? I think maybe just 1. Not sure, but I'll see you next week, probably. Bye, everybody. Thanks.